Welcome to another story made by Oracle 1. Nexus 4 AM. In the sprawling neon-lit metropolis of Novosite, where towering spires clawed at the smog-ridden sky and surveillance drones danced like fireflies in the perpetual haze, there existed a secret known only to the wisest of the forgotten and the most desperate of the dreamers. Every night at exactly 4 o'clock in the morning, a train, silent and spectral, glided into the abandoned Sector 12 station, a place long erased from official maps and buried beneath layers of corporate propaganda and city lore. The train bore no name, no emblem, only an eerie luminescence that seemed to seep from its every rivet and panel, casting long ghostly shadows on the cracked platform tiles. It arrived without sound, without fanfare, only to vanish again into the bowels of the city, clutching an enigmatic cargo, passengers who would never return. Mara Kestrel had heard the stories since she was a child, whispered between furtive classmates and hushed elders who watched the clock anxiously from curtained windows. To the everyday citizen, the 4 a.m. train was an urban myth, the kind of tale spun to keep children indoors and the curious at bay. But Mara was no ordinary citizen. She was a tracker, a scavenger of truths in a city drowned under layers of corporate lies and false promises. She prided herself on solving puzzles, unveiling conspiracies, and navigating the labyrinth of Novosite's darkest secrets. And on this night, Mara stood alone on the platform of Sector 12, her breath forming ephemeral clouds in the cold, pre-dawn air, her heart pounding to the metronome of the distant city's pulse. The train was due. The origin of the Nexus train was a mystery even to her. Some said it was a remnant of a bygone era, constructed during the first corporate uprising when factions fought for control over the city's neural grid. Others whispered about portals, about dimensional shifts, about government experiments with time and consciousness. None of these theories were confirmed because none of the passengers ever came back to tell the tale. Mara's motive that night was different from the others who vanished. She wasn't boarding out of curiosity or desperation, she was hunting for a friend. Jaren Holt had been a fixture in her life since university days, a fellow investigative journalist whose passion had turned into obsession. 2 weeks ago, in the cold flicker of a dying neon sign, Jaren had met Mara with a cryptic smile and a hasty invitation to join the 4 a.m. train. "If you want to see the truth, you must ride the Nexus," he said. She wanted to refuse, to urge him against the fatal journey, but Jaren was determined. The next morning, he was gone. Ever since, Mara had scoured the underbelly of Novosite for answers, using covert comm links, infiltrating black market data nests, and bribing the right officials. But the trail always ended here, at Sector 12, where the Nexus train took its passengers to nowhere. And so, a sliver before 4, the atmosphere shifted. The streetlights dimmed, and the buzzing hum of ambient drones receded as if the city itself was holding its breath. A sudden chill rippled through the air. A faint glow appeared at the far end of the platform, growing in intensity. The train emerged, its sleek black carriages shimmering with an iridescent sheen, their surfaces scratched but alive, almost breathing. Mechanized doors hissed open like the gaping maw of some ancient beast beckoning forth its victims. Mara gripped her satchel tighter and stepped aboard. The interior of the train was unexpected, a fluid blend of retro and futuristic. Polished copper accents gleamed alongside holographic displays pulsing softly with arcane symbols. The seats were plush, inviting, yet cold, as if the very atmosphere inside was laced with a subtle foreboding. Passengers shuffled onto the train, faces pale and vacated of emotion. They sat quietly, avoiding eye contact. Mara's gaze passed over them. Each seemed swallowed by their own void, yet flickers of anxiety and resignation burned faintly beneath their facades. She found an empty seat near the middle carriage and settled down, pulling a data chip from her satchel, a fragment of Jaren's last transmission, which crackled softly in the dim light. A faint projection emerged, a real-time map of the train's trajectory, its destination marked as Nexus. As the doors hissed shut, the train jolted and the platform outside blurred into a suffocating darkness, swallowed whole by the machine's voyage beyond reality. With the faint thrum of the engines, the holographic panels flickered, revealing streams of data cascading invisibly through the carriage walls. Signals from unknown origins spanning timelines, universes, and encrypted secrets. Mara leaned forward, her eyes scanning the invisible cipher codes, each line whispering fragments of a story untold. Suddenly, the world around her warped. The carriage dissolved into a kaleidoscope of fractured landscapes, neon deserts under electric moons, fractured cities hovering in zero gravity, storm-churned oceans housing glowing leviathans. Mara blinked and found herself standing on the deck of an ancient skyship sailing through molten clouds, its deck alive with crew members whose faces shimmered with alien light. A voice, seemingly inside her mind, whispered, "Welcome, traveler. The Nexus is beyond mere passage. It is transition, transformation, choice." Mara's heart hammered against her ribs, but her resolve sharpened. "How do I find Jaren?" she demanded aloud, her voice almost caught in the ether. The voice responded, its tone neither warm nor cold. "He chose the path. All who board accept metamorphosis, to become more, or to cease. To find him, you must relinquish your fear." Images flooded her mind then. Jaren stepping through a door of radiant light, his form dissolving into pure code, becoming part of the Nexus itself, a living consciousness bridging worlds. The train shuddered violently, pulling Mara from the vision. The carriage was back, but now, the other passengers no longer sat in stupor. Their faces turned to Mara, eyes alive with recognition, with hope, and with sorrow. They spoke, voices a haunting chorus. "We are the transformed, the Nexus's threads woven through eternity. We are those who escaped the constraints of flesh and time. You can join us now." Sweat beaded on Mara's brow, her mind racing with questions and terror. To follow Jaren meant surrender. Yet, to refuse was to be trapped, forever chasing shadows. Summoning every shred of courage, Mara opened the satchel and withdrew a small device, a quantum disruptor designed to sever the train's connection to the Nexus network. Primed to detonate, it could potentially save the passengers or doom them in eternal limbo. Her fingers trembled as she raised the device. Then, a voice, unmistakably familiar and resonating deep within the holographic ether. "Mara, don't fight it. The Nexus is the future, evolution beyond the broken corporeal. You can help us all transcend." It was Jaren. Tearing between loyalty and fear, Mara hesitated. The train's metallic walls flickered, and the platform at Sector 12 suddenly shimmered into view, a glimmer of reality breaking through the illusion. The passengers began to fade like dying stars, their forms returning to the physical world but transformed, ethereal versions of themselves, half in this dimension, half beyond. Mara realized that the train's secret was far more complex than disappearance. It was a gateway between worlds, between states of being. Her heart thundered as the train decelerated, its wheels grinding softly on rails that didn't seem grounded anywhere. As the doors slid open again on the abandoned station, she stepped out into cold dawn light, uncertain of what she carried within herself. Had she returned unchanged, or had the Nexus begun its silent weaving into her very soul? The city awoke sluggishly, oblivious to the brief incursion of cosmic mystery beneath its neon veil. Mara felt the weight of her secret, the truth that would burn in the city's veins forever. That beyond the veil of reality, the Nexus waited, alive, relentless, taking those brave or lost enough to step aboard at 4 a.m., forever changing them, forever unfolding the grand tapestry of existence. And somewhere in the labyrinth of time, Jaren watched, a cipher amongst ciphers, beckoning the next traveler to choose transformation over extinction. For more stories, like and subscribe.